Town leaders working together at a conference in Boston over the weekend. We have details. And Superintendent Dr. Mary Schakowsky is prepping to present the budget to the school committee. And a regional theater festival kicks off tomorrow in Barnstable. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, January 27th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. Municipal leaders from across the Bay State meet every year at the annual Mass Municipal Association's meeting. Town manager Tom Lynch attended this year's meeting over the weekend. Lynch says the conference was full of great workshops and instructional sessions.
A wonderful trade show where you can, meet a lot of different vendors who are trying to get your business, the town business, in different ways. They have annual gatherings of the different selectmen and councils and other groups. But I want to start with the opening session because they had John Meacham, who was an author who wrote two well-received books on one on Jefferson, the other on Andrew Jackson, and his theme was leadership. They always try to have some sort of inspirational, speaker to try to say, look, we know you're out there laboring every day doing stuff, but here's a broader view of stuff. Well, he was just great. The way he was able to take the history and decisions that were made by key leaders, whether it was Ronald Reagan, George Bush, FDR, or Clinton, how that happened, and the background, his background information on that was just very, very stimulating. So, and he stressed three areas. He was talking about leadership in terms of learning from your mistakes and being able to tell a story, being also not, basically really loving your job, showing you love it and being able to portray it. He talked about President Clinton as still being able to probably this day be able to give you what the precinct votes were when he ran for governor, in some small county in Arizona, because these individuals just live their political nature. But from there we had Speaker DeLeo, the House Representatives, speak, and as I kind of suspected, since the governor had come out with his budget, which level funded local aid to cities and towns, the Speaker is a former selectman, has always been good to cities and towns on local aid, and he pledged that, in fact, it wouldn't be level funded, there'd be additional local aid. So that was naturally met by city and town selectmen, councils, and administrators very well. After that session, I went to the session on state and local economic, budget trends and outlook. I tend to like to go to that one anyway each year because the Secretary of Finance is there. They're talking about taxes that are coming and revenues, where their spending's going. Well, they were probably about 10 minutes into that group, and the governor suddenly comes walking into the workshop. Now, it's very unusual for a governor to show up at a workshop.
Definitely.
So I felt, since he didn't make the morning session, he was coming to somewhat defend his ground. And it was a little bit of political gamesmanship, I think, because I'm sure
many town councilors attended the conference along with Lynch. Superintendent of Schools Dr. Mary Schakowsky will be working out the final details on the capital improvement budget over the next few weeks. Schakowsky says she met with Town Manager Tom Lynch and Finance Director Mark Milne last week to discuss the school system's needs.
And as you know, we've got some big classes coming through the elementary schools, and right now there's a sense of urgency to address that space needs, particularly at Centerville and West Villages. Otherwise, we could be facing upwards up to 35 in a classroom come September if we don't address it. And we've been working on it in looking at modular construction, but with this sense of urgency right now, we're looking at other options as well. One is looking at the wing over at the high school and making that a permanent home for our preschool program, but that would require some additional funds to do some renovations as well. So we're working with TVA architects, who we're going to be meeting with actually this Thursday, to sort of look at our estimates. So in essence, we may take that funding that we originally submitted for the capital improvement and spread it over 3 years so that it allows us to address this immediate need first and then follow up with removal of the BWB portables and adding a modular classrooms to that school, and then the following year, Hyannis West, doing something very similar. If we were able to do that, it moves the preschool. There's currently 6 preschool classrooms over at Centerville, and it moves them out of Centerville, which allows us some space, classroom space, for the increased number of children at our elementary schools, which is West Villages and Centerville right now. So we're hoping to finalize that and bring it before the town manager, who will then bring it forward to the town council. So we're working on that, and it has significant impacts. As I said, I'm very concerned about the class sizes, particularly at Centerville and West Villages. As you know, last year we had to add a first grade class at the end of the summer, right before school opening over at West Villages. So, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I look at it as, our numbers are increasing at the elementary school, and that is good. But once again, closing the 3 elementary schools and then now having this increase, this bump, if you will, bubble, if you will, over at the elementary schools is causing us to really do something, very quickly and have this up and running for September. So I'm really hopeful that we'll find a resolution to it, but as I said, it's all part of the big budget process.
Schakowsky plans to make the first budget presentation to the school committee February 12th. The Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival returns to Cape Cod Community College this week. The 4-day festival will bring more than 1,000 college theater students and faculty from all over New England to Barnstable to attend the festival. The festival includes performances, workshop sessions, and much more. Spokesperson Michael Gross says they are in the 2nd year of a 3-year contract to host the festival.
It is a massive effort to take a look at tremendous productions and actors and select them for national performance in Washington later on in the year. And they all come from literally all over the United States, in the northeastern region anyway. And it's headquartered at the Cape Cod Resort and Conference Center, as well as the Cape Cod Resort and the Resort and Conference Center over in the West End, and then the Cape Cod on 132. And what's happening is that these are truly national performers, national directors coming to look at student work. And the good news is everyone in the area can, in fact, look at it, too, and participate in it, too. It's a wonderful setup for all of the theater, and the Cape is filled with it, to also come together and see what's going nationally and also performing. In fact, Cape Cod Community College's theater groups are going to be performing in front of judges in at least 2 situations throughout the week.
The festival is open to the public. Festival passes can be purchased at the front desk at the Resort and Conference Center in Hyannis. The festival begins tomorrow and runs through Friday. Now let's take a look at sports with Brenna McCubry.
Good evening, Barnstable. I'm Brenna McCubry, here to bring you the latest on New England and Barnstable sports. This past Saturday, the Boston Bruins had their afternoon matinee in Philadelphia versus the Flyers. It was worth the road trip as the Bees took the 6-1 victory. They will play again tonight in Uniondale, New York to take on the Islanders at 7 p.m. Last night, the Boston Celtics met up with former players Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, who are both now with the Brooklyn Nets. The Celtics fell to the Nets 85-79. Up next for the Celtics is a matchup with the New York Knicks tomorrow night at 7:30. Super Bowl 48 is coming up this weekend. The game between the Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks will be played at 6:30 Sunday, February 2nd in New Jersey. Taking a look at Barnstable High School sports, there are a few games tonight. The girls basketball teams will host New Bedford Public School. The JV team is on the court now as their game started at 5 and varsity will begin at 6:30. Away at their OCL championship meet is the boys and girls winter track teams. The meet is at the Reggie Lewis Center in Roxbury. That is all for now in New England and Red Raiders sports. Here in Barnstable Today, I'm Brenna McCubry.
And that's it for us on this Monday evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.